Hello. Today we're going to talk about how to use a mail merge with a document and a spreadsheet. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create your document. And when you create your document, you want to look at places where are you going to put information into that you're going to change all the time. So for instance, I'm going to use our employability skills rubric. The information I want to replace that I want to change all the time is my teacher's name up here. So I have these little arrows. So you want to go arrow, arrow, and then your teacher name. And then the class may change. The student name is definitely going to change, and the date is going to change. So the trick is to make sure you have the two arrows on both sides of what information you want in there. Once you have that done, you're going to go to your spreadsheet and you're going to create your spreadsheet. So your spreadsheet is going to have headers. So teacher name, class, student name, date. Those are important. Then you just go ahead and fill in your information or grab it from someplace else and just make sure it's in a spreadsheet. Now what we're going to use is what's called an add-on. We're going to use AutoCrat. So if you do not have AutoCrat in your add-ons, you just need to go to the Google Play Store and go ahead and grab it. Once you have AutoCrat, you're going to go ahead and say open, and it will take a little bit for AutoCrat to load in. So once AutoCrat gets loaded in, then we'll be able to continue the process. Now the nice thing about mail merge is that you can use it on letters or certificates or in any kind of information where you want to like maybe change the student's name or change other information in there. We're going to ignore this job that's already here, and we're going to go ahead and create a new job. So it's going to pop up in just a second and ask us for the name of our job. So we're going to call this test job or test. I'm just going to call it test 4. And I'm going to go to next once I have it named. Then it's going to ask you where you want to put your information into. So this was the document we created very first. So ours is, I'm going to use the copy of employability skills. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to use that. It's going to go find those tags that had the little arrows in it. And once that's done, then it's going to pop up here. Once it's up here, you can go ahead and hit the next button. Now it's going to ask you to match those tags. And if you look, it looks like it has nothing over here for you to match it to. That's because up here, we haven't told it which sheet in the spreadsheet to go use. So spreadsheets can have multiple sheets in it, so it needs to know which sheet. So I just go say, hey, go grab sheet 1. So it's going to go grab sheet 1 and go grab my headers. Now these are the headers that I put in my spreadsheet over here. I just want to make sure that they match. So I want the teacher name to say teacher name, the class to say class. Once those are done, and if you don't match up, you just pull down that little menu down here and you can match them up that way. Got that done? Then you just hit the next button. This file name is how do you want these to be named. So I want these to be called test 4. And then I want to put a $sign, and I wanted to put the student's name after that. If I don't put student name here, then it's just going to create a bunch of test 4s, and I won't know which student it's tied to. So it's going to show up in your document folder as multiples of the same thing. So if you put student name after it, it's going to tag the student name after it. Now you can choose your type if you want it to be a Google Doc or if you want it to be a PDF. PDFs, remember, you can't type on very easily. So if you want to type on this document later on, then you want to do a Google Doc. Multiple output mode, this is going to print a page per student, which is what you want if you're sending out letters or things like that. Single output mode is going to put it into a form, so everything's going to try to show up in one page, which is good for reports, but not necessarily good if you're sending stuff home. Once you have that done, you're going to hit the next button. So you're going to choose a destination folder. I've already created a folder where I want this, where I want all these little letters to go to, or my whatever I'm creating. So it's going to pop up here, and mine is called Test Employability. If it doesn't show up in the first couple of things, you can actually go up here and search for it, as long as you remember what you named your folder. So I just hit select. Now I'm done, and I can go to next. I don't want to deal with dynamic folders, so I just go next. I don't want to set mail merge conditions. This is an advanced option. If you want to do something like that, this is like if this particular thing in the spreadsheet, if this particular cell in the spreadsheet is blank, don't make a certificate for it or don't send a letter. But we're not worried about that right now, so we're just going to go ahead and hit next. I don't care about if I share the document or not, but you can actually send a document and share a document and send the email. Triggers are if you want to have this, that once this cell is filled, go ahead and send the letter. So you don't have to run this, it just automatically runs itself. So that's what triggers are, but we're not going to worry about those right now. So we're just going to head and hit the save button. It's going to take a little bit to save this job, and once it has this job saved, then we can go ahead and tell it to run the merge. I will tell you that mail merges, the more data you have in your spreadsheet, the longer it does take it to run the mail merge. So keep that in mind, give yourself some lead time. So now we're going to go ahead and run test 4. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the run job, and this run job will take a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and it will show you the merge sequence has started, and then it should start showing me that my rows are going. So you just start watching down here and it will tell you everything that it's doing. I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I'm going to come back. Oh, now it says 3 rows are being merged, so I may not pause it. And it should afterwards just go ahead and say job is done. It'll come right back. 1 document of 3 being merged. So if you watch your spreadsheet over here, it's running those over here, and it'll start running, putting in information off to the side here. I'm going to pause this while it runs the next couple. Okay, so it ran my whole entire job. I watched it do its thing. It comes back to this screen right here. So you can go ahead and just go ahead and hit close. Now I want to go find where that is. So I'm going to come over to my testing employability skills folder, because that's where I told it to put these. And here they are, test 4 Jeff Carlson, test 4 Olivia Goodyear. So I just click on those, and you will notice that it has put that information where those tags were. So it's got Carlson, library skills, my student's name, and the date on it. And that is how now I can print this and do whatever else I want to do with it. So that is how you make a mail merge.